Welcome to episode 4 of Ball Only. Today, what we're going to be talking about is loyalty in the NBA specifically. Um, so, recently, with news of the DeMar DeRozan trade, um, LeBron James going to Lakers, DeMarcus Cousins going to the Golden State Warriors, it's been a pretty large topic. Uh, you know, on the player side and as well as the team side and the GM and stuff like that. Um, I was just gonna kind of share my thoughts on it, and then hopefully I get to hear what you guys have to say on it. Um, so starting off, for I in my opinion, I feel like loyalty in the league doesn't really matter to me. Um, Probably a weird statement to say, but probably a lot of people disagree with it. But at the end of the day, it just does not matter to me. Um, you know, Everyone is kind of trying to do what makes them happy or what's going to make them successful in the league, and a lot of times you're gonna have to disappoint people. You're gonna have to leave where you're in now to find something better for yourself. So I don't really, care about loyalty. If a player is not loyal to their team, I'm not gonna really care. It's not gonna make a difference to me. Uh, you know, Tell me, with Tony Parker, going to the Charlotte Hornets, that doesn't really count as like a disloyal thing, just because he's been with the Spurs for so long. But still, uh, you know, if he did that, while him and him and Ginobili and Duncan were in championships, I wouldn't care either. Even though, you know, probably a lot of people would. But to continue on with that, I say that like it doesn't matter to me, because like with players, um, you know, they're just trying to do what's best for them as a basketball player and as a person, maybe what's best for their family, what their family needs, what they want for their family. Um, you know, a lot of people kind of bag on Kevin Durant and LeBron James for leaving their teams. DeMarcus Cousins now was leaving New Orleans. I don't really, I don't see it as a problem because you know LeBron James, did plenty for Cleveland. Brought them their first championship ever in the league. Um, not that he had to do that in the first place, anyways. But the fact that he did is kind of like a why else would he need to stay? Um, that organization wasn't really putting the best parts around him anyways. So uh, the fact that he was going to leave is very understandable, and can't hard to say like I wouldn't do the same thing in his situation. But of course, I would never be in that situation, so I would never know. Um, and then with KD leaving, going to the Warriors, uh, you know, did did what he wanted to. Uh, won a championship against LeBron. Um, you know, Although it like a lot of people uh will say he doesn't deserve it. He took the easy way out, stuff like that. You still like can't deny that he was the best player on that team during uh, both of the years that they've won now. Um, you know, won Finals MVPs both years. Uh, you know, led the league or led their teams in scoring. Uh, you know, that was great rebounding for them. Was great shot blocking. He he did everything on the court that they needed him to do when he got there. It wasn't like he went from a small pond to a big ocean and was still a small fish. No, he was a big fish in a big pond and big fish in a fucking ocean with you know Steph and Clay and Draymond and all them. Um, so you can't really pin it against him as a player. But I guess if you're going by who you like, I could see that more. But saying that it makes him a worse player is kind of an idiotic argument to me. It's kind of like if he's such a bad player for switching teams, uh, then you shouldn't be worried about him going to the other team in the first place because he would not help him if he was a bad player. Um, yeah, and also with the the players being loyal and fans or and teams being loyal, there's also fan loyalty, and that uh, KD kind of loses out on that with being on Golden State a lot of the times because when Steph is out of the lineup for a little while, maybe tweaked an ankle, something like that. I think forget what it was during this season while he was out, but it was like like a week or two, and it was just KD, Draymond, and Clay. Uh, you know, KD had to take charge of that team. Had to carry the load for a little bit, and because their record was not perfect. A lot of the Warriors fans kind of were like, oh, uh, came on or KD kind of makes the team worse when he's on the court. We need Steph. Steph's the best player on that team. We need you know we need Steph to be able to function. KD's when he's in, he plays too much iso ball, does too much, doesn't help the team out. That's ridiculous. Uh, he clearly helps that team out when he's on the court, and of course, Steph helps that team a lot too. But when they're playing together, that's when it's going to be dangerous. Regardless if it's regular season or playoffs, and regular seasons, you're not going to have to worry about that. You shouldn't worry about it. Uh, you know, being in the one seed doesn't it gives you that home court advantage, kind of, but it at the end of the day, it really shouldn't matter. Um, as long as you're getting, that 1 through 8 seed. Um, and when Steph's kind of like when KD might be out and then Steph and they're going on a win streak, it goes right back to um, KD. We don't need KD. KD can stay out. We were 73-9 without him. Uh, we don't need him now, which is completely false. Because had KD not been in the finals or been on their team after the 2016 finals, uh, it very well could have ended up as another championship for the Cavs. So they really shouldn't take KD for granted as much as they do, and if you do as a Warriors fan, I mean, can't really do anything about it, but I'm gonna see you as a little bit less intelligent, which is fine. But it shouldn't matter anyways, what I think. So just keep that in mind. With teams, a lot of people want teams to be loyal to players, players to be loyal to teams, etc., etc. It's at the end of the day, to me, as I said before, everyone's just kind of trying to look out for themselves. The team's going to do what's best for the team, or what they think's best for the team, and then the player's going to do what's best, for what they think is best for themselves. With the team, you have to look at what they're going to do in the standings, you know, how the locker room's going to be with if they trade a player, uh, you know, what the fan response might be, stuff like that. And it's hard for them to do that or to kind of gauge what that might be without them also starting rumors of trades and stuff like that because they can't just be like, how would you feel if we traded so and so to like the players, because then it's kind of like get annoying to the players. Maybe it might start different dialogue in the locker room, or it might start an uproar from their fans, stuff like that. So they clearly need to do what's best for their team, because that's what's going to keep the fans happy if the team's successful, um, and making sure that everything else is running smoothly in the organization. I know with the DeMar trade is he'd been there 9 years, and they just felt that getting Kawhi Leonard would probably be the best move for them. And for all we know, it could be. We won't know until probably mid next year, seeing how they're doing the playoffs. If they can re-sign Kawhi Leonard, that's probably a good trade for them in the end. Just kind of have to see how everything pans out with that. Yeah, and the one thing that kind of annoys me about the conversation of loyalty and the players is like, players only expected to be loyal as if you're Kevin Durant, LeBron James type of player. If you're kind of like a mid-level like bench player or something like that, you say, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, next season. People are gonna kind of like wave it off and be like, oh, we lost him, oh no. But it's like, but they're not gonna be like heartbroken. They're not gonna be pissed at you. They're not gonna be shouting at you. They're not gonna be booing at you when you come back. Uh, during games, stuff like that, during the regular season, they're probably just gonna be like, oh, he's on a different team now. Nothing too erratic. And it's kind of the same way with like how fans react to trades, or not to trades, but how fans react, and then also similar to trades, where it's like, if you're doing great, you're playing at that LeBron James, Kevin Durant level, one of those superstar levels, people aren't gonna, you're not gonna be traded. Um, Fans are obviously gonna appreciate you, or want to watch you play, not necessarily appreciate, but they're gonna be happy that you're doing well for that team, and glad that you're getting them what they want for their team. And then as soon as you might have maybe it's an injury, stats falling off a little bit, uh, people are gonna be mad at you. People are gonna be like, why aren't you doing so well? What happened? Stuff like that. Teams will probably trade you for cash considerations, a bag of chips, stuff like that. So it's all kind of like a perspective of who you are in those kind of decision making process, or yeah, in that decision making process, during free agency. Not everyone's brainwaves aren't going to be thinking what KD might be thinking during free agency, what he wants to do, stuff like that. From his perspective, it was probably the best move. That's probably why he made it. And then, someone else's obviously going to be different. Same with the trades. The GM, making all the deals. When he's reading through it, it probably sounds good to him. Might work out, might not. You know, you kind of just gotta see it from the perspective of the person to truly understand it. And you're not always going to be able to agree with it, but there's also nothing you can do about it. So, with loyalty, at the end of the day, I just don't think it should matter. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to hear next Wednesday, and then I'll leave my Snapchat and my Instagram in the description, and I think that's gonna be it. Hope you guys have the day you desire.